Hello, welcome to PlayStation Access. My name is Dave, and I'm going to cut right to the chase because Rob has been playing God of War Ragnarok and is able to tell us
deserve it.
His first impressions.
What, really? I was so late to the party with 2018 God of War.
It's fresh.
And it's just been perfect for me, finishing that and going straight into this.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad you've had such a good time.
So, just to clarify, these are very early impressions of the game. I've currently played just under 3 hours of it.
Okay.
We won't be talking about any story at all. I know you'll be glad of that, Dave, because you've not played it at all.
I haven't played anything
either. No. So really, it's just initial impressions, and I think my first initial impression was just, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's just so spectacular and imaginative, and visually, I don't think any of the trailers we've seen so far do justice to how good this looks in motion when you play it, when you first boot it up on your PS5, and you see just there's so much more detail and nuance in there in the facial animation. Even just during regular gameplay, you'll be speaking to a character and you can see them going real emotion is coming out. And I'm absolutely enraptured, Dave. Like, it doesn't muck around. Like, it's straight in there with the story. I think God of War 2018 was a little bit of a slow burn, and it was enjoyable in that regard. But stuff is happening in Ragnarok. Exciting stuff. And you're straight in there. And we're not going to talk any story specifics at all, but I will say that the game had me in actual literal tears within 10 minutes.
Oh my God.
And
of laughter or of emotion?
Well, you will find out whether they're tears of joy or tears of sadness. But actual water was coming out of my eyes 10 minutes in.
Wow.
It's just, it doesn't stop. And so much of what happens as well is stuff that you would just never guess.
Yeah.
And I think that's an incredible achievement because, you know, people have been anticipating this game and thinking about this game for, 4 years now, pretty much. So many theories about what was going to happen, how they're going to take the story. And obviously, I'm still not very far into it, but so much has already happened.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm annoyed that I'm having to make this video because I just want to go back to my desk and play it right now.
Imagine how I feel. I'm annoyed that you get to play the game already.
I know, I'm sorry.
What have you seen of the combat? Is it very similar
it definitely feels, it's very easy to transition into if you're familiar with God of War 2018. You feel instantly at home with it. But there are lots of really pleasing new additions. Two very specific things I want to talk about are on both the Blades of Chaos and the Leviathan Axe, you now have like an elemental imbuing ability. On the Blades of Chaos, it's called Flame Whiplash, and what you do is you mash triangle and Kratos like spins one of the blades round and it like lights up on fire, and it gives your next attack like an added bit of flame power. With the Leviathan Axe, you've got an ability that's similar called Frost Awaken, and you hold down triangle and he like charges up like a bit of frost in the Leviathan Axe, and your next attack will have added frost damage, or if you throw it you'll do added frost damage as well. And that is default. It's there by default right at the start of the game, and it certainly feels as though those two abilities are going to be like the first stepping point into quite a few interesting combos and abilities later on. Also, the skill tree is really interesting this time. You unlock and buy skills with experience, just like you did in the 2018 game. But also, you can sort of rank up particular skills by using them. So, like, just the basic axe throw, for example, if you use it 15 times, it becomes bronze tier. Which I think is a really cool way to reward players for how they're playing anyway. So the attacks you use and favour most often in combat, they're the ones that are going to be made stronger.
It's also a way, I imagine, of like noticing the skills you are using less, maybe. And go like, what is that skill I'm not using?
Absolutely. And it encourages variety. I've just been enjoying it so much. I think the fact that I've just finished the 2018 game is certainly helping me. I've got the feel for it, and it feels like a really natural transition. But it's so varied all the time. Like, never am I just doing the same thing, and I'm constantly trying to change up what I do, not just because certain enemies are weak against certain attacks. Like, there are enemies with icy shields, and you're encouraged to use flame whiplash on them to break through that icy shield, but also just for the hell of it, just for the sheer fun of using the variety of moves that Kratos has got in his arsenal. It's incredibly dynamic, and every encounter, as with the first game, is just an absolute blast. And the thing that is striking me, the thing that has struck me most is Atreus, and how he has grown, both physically and emotionally, and in terms of his combat prowess from the first game. Like, he's just great. He's really just, there's no sort of like sequel reset with Atreus. Like, he's just really good straight away.
Brilliant.
To the point where quite a lot of the time he's helping you out. A lot, and it's not just in the combat he does that either. Like, his relationship with Kratos seems to have really progressed as well, and he's just he's a lot more sure of himself. And the little gameplay things that you notice that really show that, like, so in the first game when you were climbing, Atreus would be on your back. Now he leaps up and he's ahead of you. So when you're climbing a wall, you look up and Atreus is already there scrambling up it. He knows what he's doing, and Kratos is not he put like a loving arm on Atreus' shoulder. It was like, a proud fatherly expression. And another little interesting thing is all of the diary entries, not the diary entries, like in your inventory when you've got like your bestiary, it's written from Kratos' point of view this time, whereas in the first God of War, a lot of it, all of the lore was written from Atreus' point of view. And that gives you like an incredible insight into Kratos' character and his inner thinking that we haven't had before. And it's really interesting, and I'm loving reading all of it. And realizing, that's what Kratos was thinking in that cutscene I have just seen. And I just want to go home and play it again, Dave.
Can you speak about the world a little bit? What's the world like to explore? Are you in places you recognize?
Yes. Again, I don't want to say anything at all, really, about where you're going to be going, because for me, everything that's happened so far has been elevated so much by the fact I didn't know it was coming. But what I will say is, sort of visually, obviously, it's a huge leap up from the 2018 game, and a lot of that, I think, comes from the imagination that's been put into the environments you explore. Like, they are so spectacular. And I think that's where you really see that generational leap. You're seeing environments and you're exploring environments that you just wouldn't be able to have done on PS4. And it's so exciting and it's so surprising. And yes, you are exploring like places you never explored before. There are also places that you have seen in the original game that now look a lot different because we're in the middle of Fimbulwinter. Like, stuff is covered in snow. It really feels like a movie event. Like, it feels like something we've all been looking forward to for so long. Now it's here. We're in it. We're looking at it, and it's like, and it's every bit as good as we hoped it would be. It's taking us narratively in directions that we didn't know it was going to, and so far I'm just really enjoying the ride. Like, I have no idea what's going to happen next, and I'm so in love with that feeling of like, oh my god, I can't wait to find out what happens next, because stuff has already happened that I just could never have guessed would have happened in the first 3 hours.
Oh God! Well, now you've made it like 10 times as bad for me that I can't play it. I'm so desperate. I don't know. I want to know what you mean. I want to know what all this means. I want to experience it for myself.
Well, I want to know if you cry within the first 10 minutes as well.
Yeah, so do I.
And everyone. Everyone. When you eventually play it, come back to this video and leave a comment.
Know.
And
I cried.
Literally 10 minutes in.
Well, this is just a very quick sneak peek almost at Rob's first impressions of playing God of War Ragnarok. We're going to have loads more coverage on the channel when we're allowed. This is all we've been able to do so far, and I'm glad we have, and it's really, really got me excited. I mean, I was excited before. It was great being on the last stream with you, seeing the end of the story of God of War 2018. That really got me excited, but now I don't know, I'd just be beside myself. And can I come round to your house, please?
No.
Please?
No. I'm playing it on my own, in the dark. No one may share this with me.
Right, fine. In that case, thank you very much for watching, everybody. Let us know in the comments below, A, if you cried at that bit, if this is in the future, and B, just how excited are you for God of War Ragnarok right now? Please do like this video if you liked it. Thank you very much, Rob, for your first impressions.
You're very welcome.
It annoys me to say that. And do subscribe to make sure you don't miss anything from the world of PlayStation.
PlayStation